Today is a Thai red curry casserole. For my vegetables, I'm doing peppers, a shallot, and carrot. And yes, you can eat vegetables. You just have to cut them up really small. So a food processor is going to be one of your new best friends. The rest of the ingredients, you'll need Thai red curry paste, beans of your choice. I'm using white beans because I don't feel like they have a strong bean flavor that could overpower the dish. Soy sauce, sugar, any kind of sugar, chicken stock, and coconut milk. And me personally, I am not a big fan of coconut milk, so I am going to replace it with chicken stock. For the vegetables, if you really do want to do dinner in a hurry, then put each one of them in the food processor after you've peeled your carrot and taken the skin off of the shallot. If you want to take a little more time, you can cut up the peppers and the shallot yourself. Just make the pieces really, really tiny. And I mean like smaller than a Tic Tac. So for the carrot, I'm going to cut the pieces small. Cut them in half. And then put them in the food processor. And then blitz it till everything is really tiny. And I tend to make my pieces less than a millimeter. One piece on the side that looked huge is really only this big, less than the width of a finger. Next, I'm going to get the peppers ready. I'm going to cut the top off the peppers, cut them down long ways. And then rinse out any seeds that are on the inside. If you're going to cut them, I cut them in long, thin strips. Each strip is about the width of a millimeter. And then I cut the strips in the same size in the opposite direction. So everything ends up being a millimeter or less. You don't have to cut everything up this small. If the way that I figured out what size for things to be is I got a mouthful of food before I had surgery on my jaw, and I spit it out, and I saw what size the pieces were. And I know it sounds gross, but that let me know what size I needed to make things so that they would be the same size as if I had chewed them myself. The one on this side are the pieces that I cut up myself. The smaller pieces over here are ones that I did with the food processor. The food processor definitely got the pieces smaller, but it also missed one. And that could be just because I put in a small portion of food. For the shallot, I cut off each end. I'm going to cut it in half and put it in the food processor. If I had more vegetables, I'd put them in. I might grate a sweet potato. Add that in too. I make up a grain mixture that's a mix of rice, quinoa, red lentils, and split mung beans. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of jasmine rice. I mix them together because each item has its own nutrition profile. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of quinoa. And the red lentils, we'll do 2 tablespoons of those. They'll cook down basically to mush. They'll just become a part of the sauce. And so when you mix them with rice, it keeps it from turning into just one big ball of Play-Doh. 2 tablespoons of split mung beans. And then I'm going to rinse those off, and that's going to be what we add into the pot with the vegetables. The recipe that I got this idea from uses it as a one-pot casserole. But every time I've tried it that way, the rice never ends up getting done. So I'm going to do it in a pot on the stove. I'm going to start by putting in a tablespoon of avocado oil. And then I'm going to cook the vegetables in that. I'm going to give it a minute to heat up while I rinse off the rice. I'm going to add in all the vegetables. I'm also going to put half a teaspoon of salt on top of the vegetables. Salt will help draw out the water that's in the vegetables and help them cook. It also enhances the flavor of other spices, so when the Thai red curry paste goes in, it'll help enhance the flavors in that. I'm also going to grate some sweet potato in with the other vegetables. I'll do it on a more sturdy surface. And add in the grated sweet potato. And I'm going to put a little more salt on top. Just a big pinch. I'm going to start by adding in 1½ cups of chicken stock. I was wrong. I need 14 ounces plus 1 cup. If you wanted to use coconut milk, use a full can of coconut milk and then 1 cup of chicken stock. 2 cloves of garlic, which mine is frozen, so I'm just going to add it in now. That's 2 tablespoons of sugar. Two tablespoons of soy. This is my 1/3 teaspoon of red curry paste. Now I'm going to add in the rice. Keep it mostly covered and cook it for ½ an hour and then test how done the rice is. I want to thank Plantwise for their inspiration recipe and for giving me something that is more than mashed potatoes to eat.